Hello, hello. Welcome to my very first battle report. I hope you're excited. I'm excited. You can not be excited. I don't really mind. So this is Elves versus Undead. Um, myself versus Steph, who was very kind in tolerating my massive noob elf force against his amazing undead force. We'll have a quick look at the armies, and then we'll talk about the battle, and then we'll sum up at the end. So let's go. So first, the undead force, 2,000 points. Okay, so he starts with 2 regiments of mummies, 2 regiments of zombies. He's got a regiment of Soul Reaver cavalry with a Chalice of Wrath, which is brutal. That is a brutal force. A Revenant King on Undead Worm with the wings and with Drain Life. Got a Cursed Pharaoh with the wings of the Honey Maze. A Vampire on an Undead Dragon with Lightning Bolt 3 and Blessing of the Gods. A Necromancer with Lightning Bolt 3, Drain Life and the Black Iron Crown. And last but not least, Mortibrist the Necromancer. It's a pretty elite list. I think he admits himself. It's got a low unit strength, but everything on that list is pretty nasty and pretty hard to take off. And just because, if you haven't seen, if you're not a member of the Kings of War Fanatics group on Facebook, Steph's one of the painters with the Celestial Forge. Check them out on Facebook. They do some amazing work. And if you don't want to paint your force, or you suck at painting, and you want someone to help you out, really check those guys out. They are amazing. Let's have a quick look at some of his units. This is the army. You can see it's beautiful. It's a really nice force. Here's some mummies. And some more mummies. Here's that Soul Reaver cavalry. Some zombies. And some more zombies. This one is the Vampire on Worm, I want to say. Yeah. Oh, is that the Vampire? That's the King, isn't it? Got a crown. Revenant King. Vampire. Right then. Ungainly cut in editing. Good work, me. Onto the Elves. So my disclaimer is that this was my second match against an adult, as opposed to 11-year-olds, so they're a lot of learning for me, but here we go. So a horde of kindred archers with a heart-seeking charm, which is pretty standard, as I understand. 2 regiments of palace guard, a horde of kindred tall spears, a horde of dragon riders, a regiment of war chariots with the potion of the caterpillar, 2 dragon's breath, an army standard bearer on a horse with a diadem of dragonkind, 1 elven mage with Bane Chant, Alchemist Curse, and the Black Iron Crown, and 1 elven mage with the Bane Chant, Alchemist Curse, and the Green Lady, and then the formation, which gives 5+ regeneration to everything. Not everything, the tall spears and the palace guard. Okay, so that's my 2,000 points. And some shots of my army, because I'm not without vanity. I'm not quite up to Steph's standard, but they're okay. So there's my archers. You've got some old hammer on the right there, and some mantic on the left. Here's a couple of regiments of palace guard, and again we've got old hammer on the right, mantic on the left. Here's the tall spears, and you're spotting a theme. This time I swapped them around. You've got old hammer on the left and mantic on the right. Some chariots. I hope you're enjoying the range of horses there. There's actually a Bretonnian knight's horse in the middle there, which is what happens when you buy crap off eBay. And a couple of mages. The models I haven't shown you, I haven't got, weren't painted in my army, so hands up, I never got them finished, but I'm getting there. Okay, so the setup. This is our board. Forgive the trays of miniatures. So we set up the scenery, just to give you an idea. You've got height 2 hill at the back, 3 height 2 woods, 3 pieces of height 4 blocking terrain, and a couple of height 1 walls. We rolled for scenario and got Take and Hold, which is where you start scoring from turn 3. So you put down a central counter, and then each side puts down a counter in the other person's half. And from turn 3, the one with the most unit strength within 3 inches of the counter scores a point. So the 3 counters are, as you can see. So pretty much you can guess where the battle was fought. Okay, So roll off. So we rolled for who went first. Who chose sides? Steph won, and he chose the hill, which actually was mean because he doesn't have any ranged, and I do. And we placed like this. So to give you an idea of Steph's placement, the undead here. So on the left, you've got the Soul Reaver Cavalry with the king on the dragon behind them. I think the pharaoh's back there somewhere as well. And then in the front, you've got the two mummy regiments with the zombie regiments behind them. A little black square in the middle is Mortibris with the other necromancer next to him. And you've got the vampire on the end. Now, the reason it's important, Mortibris is in the middle, because his special ability is a 6-inch cloud of stealth, giving everyone stealthy, or +1 to stealthy, which is why they're all clumped into that tiny area, because everyone in that area now has stealthy, which is pretty neat. Here's my deployment, which there are some issues with. I'll talk about in a minute, but going left to right on the far left-hand side, just off the camera, is a regiment of Palace Guard. Then there is an Elf Mage, followed by the Horde of Tor Spears, which is kind of angled to get through that gap. There is one of the Dragon's Breath, which is represented by a small dragon's model with the Green Lady next to him. Then there's a house, splitting up my force, and then there's another Palace Guard with the chariots behind them. That's the Horde of Archers with a Mage with the Black Iron Crown behind them. To the right of the Archers is the Standard Bearer with a Diadem of Dragonkind, the other Dragon's Breath behind him, and then the rather unpleasantly unpainted Draken Riders on the right-hand flank. My intention was to kind of bring them up and try and flank this force and pull some of the force away, which I kind of did, you'll see. Yeah, just showing you where the Palace Guard are. So some of the issues with my placement here is that my archers are right in the center. I think I get a bigger field of view, but he's put his whole force through cover. So no matter what happens on the first turn, he's already got stealthy, so that's +1 to hit, and they're in cover. So basically I'm hitting on 6s with my main archer horde. That's not great. So Steph 1 first turn. And this is the Undead turn 1. Guest appearance by the Undead hands there. And a cup of tea. So Undead Force, first turn. Basically, everyone moved forwards. This weird kind of square thing at the top is where the Soul Reaver Cavalry were, but on the edge of a hill, they're actually metal models, so they were going to fall off. So hence pizza trays and block of wood. So yeah, the main thing, this Undead Pharaoh sneaked into the forest there. So he's the one with the wings of the honey maze. He's zoomed forward into cover in the forest. And my poor placement shows what you can see here. Basically, every roll of lightning bolt went into my war engine at the front there, who promptly died in the first turn, which is really, really poor. So a little lesson about placement of your war engines on the first turn there. Okay, Elf turn 1. We move forwards. So the Palace Guard moved in front, moved up, and so did the chariots. Left-hand side, the Palace Guard moved up, and the Tall Spears moved up with the Green Lady shifting to the right. My other war engine and Standard Bearer moved forward, and the Draken Riders moved up to the right-hand side, overextended themselves, I would say, and turned to present a threat to that side as planned. Because they're unsupported, I think that left me a little bit vulnerable, which we'll see. Archers unleashed on the only target they could pretty much see and did 6 points of damage to the vampire and undead dragon. Okay, undead turn 2. So you can see Steph played pretty aggressively here, which is very sensible. The vampire and mummies turned to face the threat of the Draken Riders. He considered charging both with a multi-charge, but instead he held the dragon back and used him to, along with the necromancer, to surge the mummies into the Draken Riders with the hope of grounding them. Everyone else just moved forwards, as you can see. The Revenant King and then the Soul Reaver Cavalry did a combined charge onto the Palace Guard, obliterating them in a single turn. And the Pharaoh chucked himself forward at my archers. I left them unprotected, which meant that he could shut them down. He did 3 points of damage, which meant that they couldn't fire the next turn. Unfortunate. So not a great second turn for me, as my inexperience was showing really in terms of overextending myself. That double charge from the Soul River Cavalry onto those Palace Guard, brutal, really brutal. Wiping out a pretty valuable unit. There's no point, with that amount of healing. I've got 8 points of healing from the Green Lady and 3 and 7 from the other mages, 4 and 3, plus regen 5. You've got to wipe out everything in a single turn, otherwise it's just going to regen and heal back. And he's done that pretty effectively. Wiping out the shooting, really smart, so I can't now shoot with my main force of archers. Okay, that was turn 2 undead. Elf turn 2. So here we go. The fight back commences. Some would say a futile fight back at this point. They would be correct. Okay, so we Palace Guard move forward. Don't forget we're prepping for turn 3, so next turn I can claim one of the objectives. It's about all that side unit is good for. The tall spears and the cavalry counter charge. Aha, yes, right. So you will notice this screenshot, dragon. This screenshot, no dragon. So we counter charge into the Soul River Cavalry. Why just the Soul River Cavalry? Because Team Toasty took hold of the game. So this is my standard bearer on a horse with a diadem of dragonkide. We have got a dragon breath, and we have got a mage with alchemist curse and a black iron crown. So that is a shit ton of magic, which I unloaded into his dragon and took it off in a single turn, which was pretty cool. It's about the only cool thing I did. You can see him right up in the left-hand corner. That was useful, and hence christening him Team Toasty. Big fan of Team Toasty. Did some serious work, so that was good. So leaving the Soul River Cavalry on their own, so I multi-charged them with my chariots and with my tall spears. You think that was great? Double attack from quite meaty units, 3 points of damage. Count them, 3. Shocking. That is shocking. Yeah, there's the dragon dying. Boom. We had a bit of a smash at the top, so the Dracons went back into the mummies. Was really hoping to do a bit more, but there's no item on that Dragon Rider, so they're just damaging on 4s, hitting on 3s, damaging on 4s, 4 points of damage. Not great on those pretty tough mummies. This is the strength of this force, I think, is that they are high defense, lots of regen, lots of healing, so not great. And yep, that's the end of my turn. Okay, the undead turn 3, so the first scoring turn for the undead. And this zombie horde in the middle scored 1 point from that token. Nothing else was scoring, so just the one. As you can see. So the mummies charged into my tall spears, 4 points of damage. The cavalry charged into my chariots, obliterating leeching off most of their damage, and then obliterating the chariot horde, because chariots are shit. The dragon moved up to prepare for a flank charge if I managed to not kill the mummies, which was extremely nerve-wracking. And the mummies charged back into the front of the dracons, doing a little bit of damage. Once again, the Ferret on the bottom charged back into the archers, just chipping away at them, just a little bit of damage every turn. Kind of annoying. Yeah, there you go, that's the chariots dying. Okay, elf turn 3, so I score a point for being in control of the objective. Woohoo, 1-1. The tall spears go back into the mummies, the dracons go back into the other mummies, and the archers go back into the pharaoh. 3 points of damage there. Team Toasty unleashes again onto the Soul Reaver Cavalry, 7 points of damage, but unfortunately don't manage to waver them. Really disappointing. There's a bit of healing going on from the Green Lady and from the other mage, healing off the damage from the Tall Spears. And they do 10 points of damage. Tall Spears, 30 attacks is pretty strong. 10 points of damage, again, fail to waver. Very disappointing. The Dracons do a reasonable amount of damage onto the mummies. Top right, again, fail to waver. So yeah, disappointing dice that turn. This was really my only opportunity to turn it around. And as you can see, got let down by the old dice gods there. Special guest appearance in this turn from Steph's Dinner, top right. Yeah, nice. Unfortunately, it doesn't add any damage modifiers, but yeah, nice to see. So here's the Soul Reavers with their 7 points and the mummies with their 10 points. Spectacularly not being wavered. And there's the 6 points I've managed to put onto those mummies. You can see I'm up to 8 on the Dracons. They've held, they've done well, I'd say, but you can see that dragon head just poking down from the top there, ready to literally eat them alive. Not great. Undead turn 4. So here's zombies charge into my Palace Guard at the top. 1 point of damage. Not great. Again, just keep on plumbing away in that bottom. Another few points of damage onto the archers. Very disappointing. Yeah, so those zombies move forward, claim another token. And you can see top right there, the dragons and the mummies make pretty short work of my Draken Riders, which is a shame. They lasted, a good 3 turns of that abuse. Steph's Dinner there, half finished. He's making his way through it like he's making his way through my army. Palace Guard top left only took 1 point of damage from the zombies, which is pretty cool. But slight issue because the mummies, who have, along with the Soul Reaver, obliterated the remaining Tall Spears thanks to a flank charge from the Soul Reaver, which is really nasty, have turned around following that combat, which means another flank charge. It's not looking nice for the Elves. It's not looking nice. Okay. There is the 1 point of damage. And there is the zombies. Yeah, Team Toasty, 7 points onto them. But I think that's the end of Team Toasty. They've done well, considering. But didn't manage to waver. Got nothing. Right. So, slight issue. I think I was so reeling from my utter collapse of ranks, I forgot to take a photograph of Elf turn 4. In summary, Elf turn 4, Archers obliterated, Palace Guard obliterated, everything obliterated. There is literally nothing left. No, that's not true. I do apologise. Elf turn 4, I went back into everything and again failed to waver anything. Sorry. Right, yes. Let's go back. Right, this was after Elf turn 4. Alright. Undead turn 4, then an Elf turn 4. 7 points of damage onto those zombies. Didn't waver them. 7 points of damage onto those zombies. Didn't waver them. Yeah, and the archers didn't really do anything to the Pharaoh. And that's what happened. So at the end of Undead turn 4, the two units from the right are bringing themselves in. The Soul Reavers have destroyed the archers. And then the heroes have killed the Team Toasty along with those zombies. So Team Toasty, unfortunately, only has 1 member left, and he is a little bit brown trousered right now. And then the multi-charge from the zombies and the mummies top left kill my Palace Guard. There is nothing left on the board apart from 2 mages and a green lady. Who I forgot for much of this battle. I would occasionally remember she existed. I nearly forgot to take her at the end of the battle. Everything died. Yeah, there you go. Palace Guard dead. Yeah, Archer's dead. And Team Toasty dead. Everybody's dead. So, Undead victory. Congratulations. Yeah. Wow. Let's look up what did I learn? What did I learn? It's a little bit harsh on myself here. Get it right, don't bother playing. Well, archers in the wrong place. Couldn't really utilize them effectively. A couple of units out on the sides unsupported. One didn't really do a lot. One pushed out too far. Don't overextend. It's fair. Elf chariots, bag of shite. Really wouldn't bother. Your mileage may vary, but for me, they're fast, but their nerve is low. Their attacks are low. They're hard to hit with. If I'm kind of an expensive chaff, frankly. A lot of this came from the advice I was given after the battle. So, one of the things we talked about was, possibly one less hero. Probably don't need two. The mage on the left didn't do a lot, but, facing these kind of lists, the elf dragon kindred lord is one of the most powerful units in the game, particularly if you put boots on him. So, that's something to think about for me. And yeah, woohoo, breath weapons, big fan. Lots of fun to play with those. So that's it. Thanks for watching my first video. I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, see you for the next one. Please feel free to give me lots of patronizing advice at the bottom. I shall pay good heed because, frankly, I do need it. Thanks very much. Talk to you soon.